This is the Rebel Call channel. Welcome to today's show. You've got to see this propaganda they're putting out there in regards to the Denver airport. They are now building new tunnels at the Denver airport. And they're using this story, which they're showing you that they're actually digging and building new tunnels, to deflect off of the fact that there are real underground tunnels that are not accessible to the common public. There's a military compound underneath the Denver airport. And in fact, over the years, so many people have seen so much bizarre stuff going on around that airport that the government themselves have launched a massive campaign to deflect, because that's their MO. They try to use humor, terms like tinfoil hat, conspiracy theorists, to joke around about the notion that there's a military compound underneath the Denver airport. Despite all of the stuff that we've seen inside of the airport that tells us that the Denver airport is a hub for trafficking, despite that, they continue to roll out disinformation in the name of humor, of course. Let me play for you this clip, because the articles that are out there are Denver airport's building new tunnels. Are they storage ponds or are they secret bunkers, right? And this type of propaganda works on the sheeple, believe it or not. They have the news anchors come out, joke about the Illuminati, joke about, saying things like play into it because it's real. And everybody out there who sees this, who is a sheeple, will laugh at it and dismiss it. But if they really knew what was going on, if they had the slightest clue, they wouldn't find it so funny. But these are the same people that are so programmed. If they literally went to the Denver airport, if they literally got access to one of these underground tunnels, one of these real ones, not the ones that they're joking about here, because they're making this known to the public because these are obviously going to be used for storage or something else, and it deflects attention away from the real underground tunnels at the Denver airport. But if you actually brought one of these sheeple underground and showed them, let's just say one of their favorite Hollywood celebrities, or showed them the President of the United States of America eating a child, they would look at it and they'd say, wait a minute, what's he doing? The president would be like, I'm not really eating a child. It's, we're just having a good time here. Those types of people would actually just laugh it off and dismiss it because their brains don't function. They can't process what's really going on. So this type of propaganda, believe it or not, actually works on people. Look what they aired in Denver to crack jokes about the fact that they're openly building storage ponds, and then they want to joke about the secret bunkers that are really underneath the Denver airport, which are really a mass tunnel system that they use to traffic. But take a listen to this.
Meanwhile, we are learning Denver International Airport announcing crews are building some new tunnels.
Oh, where's my tinfoil hat?
I know, right?
Put that thing on. They say they're trying to assure conspiracy theorists that it is not for an underground bunker.
Okay.
Or so they say.
Right.
Here are pictures of the project. Looks like an underground bunker to me. They say the West Gates Pond Expansion Project involves crews building tunnels over a mile long. The airport said the tunnels will upgrade the aircraft de-icing fluid collection system, helping the airport with winter weather. They also say it'll give the Illuminati a place to be.
Those tunnels just look like they're waiting for conspiracy theories to start.
I love all the mystique and mystery around.
I like how they kind of play into it too.
They
put the signs
up
around.
Because it's true.
I mean, you have gargoyles in there. What do you expect?
They play into it because it's real.
So, of course, common sheeple will see that, and they won't even listen to them say play into it because it's real, right? Those are your Tavistock news anchors who were put in those positions. They're all puppets of the New World Order. Okay, this isn't Joe Schmo that you went to high school with. These are people who are members of secret societies. They know exactly what they're doing. They're masters of mind control. They look the same. They talk the same. They act the same. And in fact, that type of behavior gets engineered on to the public. That corny, laughing it off, joking behavior where these douchebags actually think that they're entertaining and funny. So in addition to that, look at some of this other stuff. The Denver International Airport has its own Twitter account, and they always tweet stuff like this out because they deflect. And they don't want anyone out there to actually think that the military built a base and then they built an airport on top of it. They want you to think, oh, look, we're building a tunnel over here out in the open. Let's crack jokes about children being missing and where they could possibly go and the tunnel system underneath America. Yeah, let's crack jokes about it. It's real funny, right? A secret portal, they say, to the underworld, a hole dug by Camp Green Lake. A sandworm was summoned. None of the above. Our sustainability team is busy below the surface, right? So they crack jokes about the truth. And this form of mind control works because people out there just automatically dismiss it. They don't get real information. They don't actually know what the government's up to. They think that this show that the government puts on television where they pretend to care about you and try to lower taxes while sticking it up your rear every day. And they come out and they say, we care about people who are we care about everybody, right? And these people believe the charade that they put on. But the stuff they've done in the past, right? This has worked on people. Denver Airport pokes fun at conspiracy theories. Walls are hiding construction, not lizard people, right? That's an article from CNN. Cracking jokes, of course, about truths going on in this row, right? They would put things up like, yes, Denver's got some secrets. And they put a demon up, of course, what we're told is an alien, which is really a demon. And they put all these around the airport to take attention off of what the airport really is. And it's worked on people because we've seen people take pictures of these things. They've made a big joke out of it all. And then they tweet themselves in front of these big murals that they put out. But they don't tweet themselves in front of murals like this that we've all seen at the Denver airport, which don't look so pleasant. Does this have anything to do with a connecting flight to Honolulu? Does this look like something you would see at a normal airport, right? What does that look like to you? It looks like slayed children with a, masked military who is just standing over them with a knife poking into a dove, which of course represents God. We see the rainbow in the back. I mean, these are things that are in the Denver airport or have been in the past. And of course, once people started getting suspicious of the stuff in the Denver airport and started realizing, wait a minute, they had a military compound underground at this location and then they built an airport on top of it and they could use it as a hub to take people in and out and underground. And wow, that's really interesting, right? Maybe there's something to this. So what do? Well, they put out propaganda like you just saw, and somehow people who think that they're smart and intelligent actually buy into the propaganda. We've seen, the gargoyles, the creepy demonic gargoyles, but the most important thing we've seen at the Denver airport, which they never will actually address, is this giant time capsule from the Freemasons that sits in the Denver airport. Coincidentally, of course, it's all a coincidence when you see all this demonic stuff around the airport, the big Mustang outside the airport, right? With the evil demonic eyes, to the rumors of all the stuff going on underground. There's just conveniently this time capsule in the airport of the Freemasons. Now, did you know that can people like me and you get a time capsule put into an airport? I mean, what would you have to do to be able to get a time capsule into an airport? Would you even be able to get a picture of yourself put on a wall at the airport? No, right? But they have a time capsule in there and it says for the people of Colorado to open in 2094, right? And we're not supposed to be suspicious of this. This is just everybody having a good time. This is just a joke, right? They put it there for conspiracy theorists back in 1994, March 19th, 1994, when they put it in, right? The most worshipful Prince Hall Grand Lodge of Colorado and jurisdiction, this time capsule beneath this stone contains messages and memorabilia to the people of Colorado in the year 2094. Well, it'll be interesting if we're here in 2094. Obviously, people like me and you will be long dead because that's about 70 years from now, right? So, I mean, unless you take the mark, maybe you will be here. But anyway, the time capsule's there. So this is really where a lot of the theories have begun with the Denver airport. When the Denver airport opened, you see stuff like this. You see murals like the one I just showed you. And you realize that no regular person would be able to do stuff like this, right? So what gives the Freemasons the right to put a a time capsule in the actual airport? Well, this is how this whole thing works, right? Like I've talked about, the connection of Freemasonry and secret societies to, them using terms like tinfoil hat, because people can't connect the dots between underground military bunker. Who are these people that worship the devil? Who are these people who are doing these rituals? They don't realize that they're in every town in America, right? When you realize that the Freemasons, they might be at what some say is the lowest level of the secret societies. Every single sector of these secret societies, every coven, they all practice the teachings that are in Freemasonry. It's all one and the same. They all just have different levels, different degrees, different rituals that they perform. But it's all the same. So you might look at it and say, well, my Freemason lodge is, that's not the Vatican. All right, well, the Vatican is well-versed in the Freemasonic rituals too. Is the Vatican higher up than a local Freemasonic lodge? Well, obviously it is. But it's the same thing that I talk about with the roots in Freemasonry and the Kabbalah, right? It teaches one in the same. So this is how you get it in your local towns, these lodges. When people start to figure that out, a light bulb starts to go off, because then that missing piece where they go, right, these people are just ranting and raving about politicians at their devil worshippers. They don't understand how they all could network together. That's the piece that's missing. That's when you start opening their minds, when they go, oh, wait a minute, what? And you go, did you know there's one in your town? They go, no, there's not. Then you show them there's one. You show them Eastern Star. Then you show them the D Malay, the order where they groom children. Then you realize a lot of these false flag events, how they get kids to participate in these false flag events. So then you say to yourself, okay, now it makes sense. Now I could see it. They go into Freemasonry, and then at these Ivy League schools are members of secret societies, and then it all just goes from there, right? That's the common linkage between all of them, secret societies. But they don't want you to think that, so instead they'll put propaganda out where they'll say, look, we're building a big tunnel. Is it a secret bunker? Look over here. How about we look at what's under the Denver airport, not what you're showing us in the news, because we know you're all showing us this in the news because you want to just make fun of the fact that there are really tunnels under the Denver airport, and everybody out there knows it. Most people are becoming aware that there's an underground tunnel system in the United States of America. And more people are becoming aware. Why? Because more people are starting to talk about it. How people go missing, for example. Use common sense things like I talk about, right? Common sense logic. How do people go missing this day and age? When you say that to people, they go, right. Then you say, well, could you go missing? And they go, well, yeah, of course I could. Then say, well, could you really go missing? If you left everything in your home, could you run into the woods and go missing? Maybe, but wouldn't that street camera over there catch you? Wouldn't your neighbor's ring catch you? Couldn't they piece it together to find where you actually went? Well, of course they could, because you couldn't go missing. But somehow, millions of children managed to go missing all the time, right? And think about it. They get flown into airports like the Denver airport. And then they just mysteriously, you never hear about them, right? They fly them in and out. They go right underground. They go into the tunnel system, right? Reminds me a lot of that place in California, that school. What was it called? Oh, McMartin. How they had tunnels under the schools that led to an airport. Then they flew them out of an airport to the homes of all of these politicians and rich celebrities, right? Because that's how this thing really actually works. So if we use common sense logic and we think about how an airport was built on a military compound, we say to ourselves, okay, so there's probably tunnels. Oh, yeah, there are. So why does the media come out and crack jokes like that? I mean, they get these cornballs from Tavistock. These people couldn't be cornier, could they? The ILLUMlNATI is going to meet there. Oh, right. The same secret society you're a member of? I'm sure you're a Freemason who's worn his tighty whities before, had skid marks in the back, and someone's held a sword up to your throat, right? Do you want to tell that to the public while you're on national television, or I should say local television? Well, of course you don't, because you want everyone to think that it's all a big joke, because you don't want the gig to be up, right? And that's why they control the information flow. So this is the stuff that's out there, right? I mean, they tweet this stuff out. It's right in front of our faces. And somehow, to me, it's one of the more incredible things with mind control, right? I talk about repetition being the key to mind control. But one of the keys to protecting truth is them using humor and deflecting. And it's not even good humor. It's just cornball humor. It's like I said earlier in the video. These people are so brainwashed that these people could come on TV, all they have to do is crack a corny joke, and then they automatically are programmed into dismissing notions about underground tunnels at the Denver airport. Now, after this, more people, if you bring up the underground tunnels there, they'll bring this up. They'll be like, no, they're not underground tunnels. They showed us what they were doing. They're digging a big, it's a storage pond. Oh, right, because that's how you program people, right? But it's incredible, like I said, that stuff works. But if they went underground, I feel like if they actually saw somebody eating a child at this point, that the person eating the child could just crack a joke and be like, I'm not really doing it. You know what I mean? It's made of candy corn, the kid, And they'd be like, oh, right, yeah, of course. If it's Tom Cruise, I love Tom Cruise. He wouldn't feed a child, right? He's famous because he's so talented. They all are, right? I mean, it's right underneath everybody's nose. It's just a matter of whether or not you can get your brain to start churning, the wheels in your brain to start churning. It's simple. It's up to you to wake up. It's up to you, because you have the ability to wake up from this deep sleep. When you see stuff like this video, if you're someone who's a sleeper, you have the ability to start critically thinking. It's a matter of you could accept it or not. And so many people have been put through trauma-based mind control, not ritualistically, but through the mainstream media, through the fake news stories and how they tell us to act and how they fear everybody, that most people can't get to a point where they can accept this, because it's horrifying. And it is horrifying. It's draining to know that this stuff's going on. I have days where I'm drained looking at this, and I have days where I'm motivated to wake more people up. And when I see stuff like this, as you can tell by my tone, I get angry and I get more motivated, because it's pathetic that this type of mind control works on our fellow man in the year 2024. but it does. So they will bring attention to the time capsule in there for the Freemasons, right? They'll just bring attention and put banners up. They put millions of dollars in advertising for their own airport to make fun of conspiracy theories. And then you watch the sheeple go, and they don't care about, a giant mural that they once had up. They literally showed nations being slaughtered, right? Then they just go, oh yeah, they were just joking around, right? They were trolling for no one, in the Denver airport. They didn't expect people to put it on social media and say, what in the world is this? They didn't expect people on connecting flights to walk around, look at some of the, some of the paintings that were in the airport and the murals and say, yeah, this is strange. They didn't expect that. But once they realized that people were catching on, and then they were seeing the Masonic time capsule, and then they realized that there's underground tunnel system and the Mustang out front with the demon out there, people just started going, there's a lot of weird things here. And the government went, well, all right, well, here we go. Disinformation campaign. Crack jokes about it over and over and over and over again. Make these people look like they're crazy when they don't prove anything that we all say. They don't disprove a word we say. They chuckle and call us tinfoil hat wearers. Well, the reality is, tinfoil hat wearer probably the smartest person alive these days, if you were paying attention to what those 5G towers are doing to people's brains. But, that type of propaganda still works, the whole tinfoil hat thing. Well, these people are getting cancer every other week, wondering why, blaming God, not realizing the government themselves is causing all these problems. So the Denver airport, ladies and gentlemen, you can't help it. You chuckle because it's so unbelievable. When I first started covering this stuff on YouTube, even though I'm brand new to YouTube, they didn't, have the gall to do a lot of the stuff they're doing. It was more like, you'd see some stuff and you go, oh, wow, look at this. Look at the signs and symbols like I show you in the music video. Now they're on the news talking about the Illuminati, talking about underground tunnels and cracking jokes. This isn't like Stephen Colbert doing it like it used to just be like Kimmel, Colbert. This is on the news. And this shows you how scared they really are, but how this programming does work, because they make sure they integrate this type of programming anytime they can to divert attention off what they're really doing. So the Denver airport is building actual probably storage ponds because they're letting you know about it, and they only let you know about it for a reason. Because why would they even tell you that they're building an underground tunnel if they were actually building an underground tunnel? Why would they announce it to everybody? They tell you what they want to tell you if it isn't sinister. And this likely isn't sinister. And this takes attention and builds another wall of protection for them so that when people talk about the Denver airport and underground tunnels, now they'll think that they know what we're talking about. And they'll be like, oh, come on. I saw it on the news. It's a storage pond. Duh. And you go, no, not that. What's really on it? And then you go, right? Program sheeple, ladies and gentlemen. I thank everybody for being here. I hope you're all doing well. God bless you as always and your families.